Rest. Now that's a funny little word, isn't it? People hear it and immediately think of weakness, laziness, escape. They think it means lying around while the world passes by, like some fragile bird hiding from the storm. But rest, real rest, isn't weakness. It's a strategy. It's the deep inhale before the shout, the silence before the explosion, the calm before something far too heavy to face without strength in your bones. Most of you run yourselves ragged, grinding every hour, chasing shadows, afraid that if you stop moving for even a second, everything will collapse. But sometimes stopping is the sharpest move you can make. Rest, people hear that word and think it means laziness, weakness, giving up. They picture someone lying on a couch, wasting time, letting the world pass them by. But rest isn't weakness. Oh no. It's the sharpest kind of strength. It's the pause before the punch, the silence before the scream, the calm before the storm. The world has trained you to believe that motion equals progress, that constant noise equals success, that if you're not running, you're falling behind. But sometimes the most dangerous man in the room is the one who's sitting still, breathing, waiting, watching. Because while everyone else is burning themselves out, wasting their energy on pointless battles, the one who rests is conserving fuel for the war that truly matters. Rest is a weapon, but only if you know how to use it. Think about it. A blade kept sharp is deadly, but swing it mindlessly again and again without pause, and soon it dulls, it breaks. That's what people do to themselves. They grind, they push, they bleed, and then they wonder why their spirit feels broken. It's because they never understood the art of conserving their edge. Rest doesn't mean you're not moving forward. It means you're sharpening yourself in the shadows, in silence, where no one can see. That's the real trick, letting the world underestimate you while you gather your strength. And let's not lie, the world will laugh at you for resting. They'll call you lazy, weak, unmotivated. They'll try to shame you into the same hamster wheel they're running on. But here's the thing, most of them are running in circles, chasing illusions, exhausting themselves for nothing. You don't need to match their pace. You need to break free of their game. Rest is not stepping back, it's stepping aside, waiting until the perfect moment comes to strike. That's when rest becomes power. That's when silence becomes louder than screams. But rest isn't just about the body. It's about the mind. A restless mind cannot see clearly, cannot plan, cannot anticipate. When you rest, truly rest, you allow your mind to expand, to notice things you missed when you were rushing. Details, patterns, signs. You begin to see the world as it is, not as they tell you it is. And that clarity, that's worth more than any sleepless hustle. Because clarity directs your energy where it counts. And when something big is coming, and it always is, you'll be ready while everyone else is drained and blind. Rest is misunderstood because people confuse stillness with weakness. They think stillness means doing nothing. But stillness is the gathering of storms, the loading of guns, the tightening of fists. Stillness is strategy. Look at predators. They don't chase every second. They wait. They hide in the grass, motionless, patient, silent. And then, when the time is right, they strike with everything they have, and the prey never even sees it coming. Rest like a predator, not like prey. Hide your strength, bide your time, then unleash it when the moment demands. The truth is, most people are terrified of rest, terrified of silence, terrified of stopping long enough to hear their own thoughts. Because when you rest, when you slow down, the noise dies and the truth begins to whisper. And not everyone can face it. They drown themselves in work, in distractions, in chaos, just so they don't have to sit in that quiet. But those who learn to embrace that silence, those who use it, those are the ones who win. Because when the world shakes, when something massive unfolds, they're not panicking. They're ready because they've been conserving energy while everyone else was wasting theirs. So when you hear rest, don't think weakness, don't think retreat. Think weapon, think shield, think preparation. Rest is the invisible ally that nobody sees. The hidden edge you keep tucked away until the battlefield demands it. It's the secret that separates the ones who burn out from the ones who rise when the fire finally comes. Patience. The word people love to ignore. They spit it out like it's poison, like waiting is some kind of curse. They want everything now, this instant, no delay, no struggle. Quick money, quick success, quick fame, but patience. That's where the real danger hides. Patience is power with a grin. It's not about sitting around twiddling your thumbs. No. It's about biding your time, knowing the world is moving too fast, and you're the one who dares to slow down, to let the game unfold. While they rush, you watch. While they scramble, you study. And while they exhaust themselves, chasing shadows, you're saving your energy for the kill. Patience is the test that breaks most people. They can start strong, full of fire, full of ambition, but then the silence comes, the waiting comes, the empty space where nothing seems to move. That's where they fall apart. They think if they don't see results right away, it means nothing is happening. But that's the trick, isn't it? Growth happens in silence. Change brews in the dark. Storms build behind clear skies. You can't see it, but it's there. Patience is trusting that something is forming, even when your eyes can't find proof. And yet, most people can't handle the unknown. They want certainty, control, guarantees. They need to know how long, when, where, how. But patience doesn't give you a timeline. It gives you a choice. Collapse in frustration or stand tall in the unknown. That's why patience is so rare. That's why it feels like pain, because it strips away your illusions and forces you to deal with the emptiness between now and then. But those who endure it, those who stay standing when the silence stretches on, they are the ones who inherit what the impatient lose. See, patience is like holding a knife behind your back while smiling at the world. Everyone thinks you're harmless. They think you've given up. They think you're weak. They don't see the blade. They don't see that you're waiting for them to make their mistake, to show their weakness, to burn out in their rush. And when the moment comes, when the opportunity finally cracks open, you don't hesitate. You strike with all that stored up force. That's what patience really is: controlled timing. The discipline to wait until the ground is perfect beneath your feet before you move. The impatient waste their lives chasing after crumbs, picking up scraps, thinking they're winning. The patient, they wait for the feast. They don't settle. They don't run just because everyone else is running. They know the longer they hold their fire, the greater the explosion when it finally hits. Patience builds pressure like dynamite stuffed into a box, waiting for the spark. And when that spark comes, the blast is unstoppable. But make no mistake, patience isn't passive. It's active. It's alive. It's the most deliberate thing you'll ever do. It's the quiet decision every day not to quit, not to lower your standards, not to take the easy bait. It's watching others rise quickly and fall quicker while you keep your eyes on the long game. It's refusing to let the hunger for now destroy the greatness of later. Patience is resisting the itch to act without purpose. And that's why it's so damn hard. People think patience means doing nothing. But that's where they're wrong. Patience means preparing, sharpening, learning, positioning. While you're waiting, you're not asleep. You're getting ready. You're building strength, refining your vision, aligning your steps so that when the door finally cracks open, you're not fumbling. You're ready to walk straight through it without hesitation. Patience isn't about standing still. It's about moving silently until the right moment demands your roar. And the world, it rewards the patient in ways the restless will never taste. Because patience teaches you timing, and timing is everything. A step too soon, and you ruin it. A step too late, and it slips away. But step exactly when the moment calls, and you win everything. That's what patience is. The secret art of waiting with purpose, waiting with teeth, waiting with the certainty that when the big moment comes, you'll be the only one left with the strength to seize it. Faith, now that's a funny little word, isn't it? People throw it around like it's cheap, like it's just some soft comfort blanket you wrap yourself in when things get rough. But real faith, oh no, that's not soft at all. Real faith is brutal. It's raw. It's like walking blindfolded into a room where you hear ticking bombs and still taking steps forward. Faith is standing on the edge of nothing, staring into the abyss and saying, I trust the ground will appear under my feet. That's not easy. That's madness to most. But that's what separates those who crumble from those who rise. See, people think faith is about feeling good, about hope, about wishing on stars. That's a lie they tell themselves to make it sound simple. Faith is forged in silence, in darkness, in those long stretches of time where there are no signs, no proof, no whispers of reassurance. It's when everything looks dead and gone, and yet something in you keeps burning, keeps insisting that there is more coming. That's faith. Not when the sun is shining, not when everyone is clapping for you, but when the silence is so loud it drowns you, and you still take the next step anyway. Faith is violent in its own way. It tears down your logic. It destroys your sense of control. You want to know how, when, why. You want to see the plan laid out before you like a road map. But faith laughs at that. Faith demands surrender. It demands you put your hands up and admit you don't get to hold the steering wheel. And that's where most people fail. They can't let go. They want proof before they move, guarantees before they act. But that's not how this game works. Faith makes you bet everything with nothing in your hand. It makes you risk looking foolish, stepping out when no one else will, standing tall when everyone else is crawling. And the irony is, that's where the power hides. Because when you learn to live by faith, you become untouchable. Fear loses its grip on you. Doubt can't strangle you. You stop needing constant validation from people who don't even know where they're going themselves. Faith becomes this fire in your bones that no storm can put out. You might stumble. You might bleed. But you keep going because you know something bigger is carrying you forward. That's what they'll never understand. Faith also strips away masks. When you're forced to trust without seeing all the fake confidence, all the shallow smiles, all the little lies people hide behind get burned away. You find out who you really are when the only thing you've got left is trust. And it's not a comfortable discovery. Sometimes you find weakness, sometimes fear, sometimes an ugly desperation you didn't want to admit. But when you walk through it, when you keep moving even in that nakedness, that's when you find strength you never imagined you had. Most people sell their faith cheap. The second something goes wrong, the second it takes too long, they abandon it. They start doubting, panicking, running back to their comfort zones. But real faith doesn't fold. Real faith digs in deeper the harder it gets. It refuses to back down even when everything screams that it's over. Real faith doesn't need evidence. It becomes its own evidence. That's the insanity of it. It thrives in the impossible. It doesn't just survive the fire, it grows in it. And faith, it has this strange way of turning weakness into strength. When you admit you don't have control, you unlock a power greater than control. When you let go of needing answers, you start to see doors where walls used to be. When you stop demanding proof, you become proof. Faith bends the impossible until it cracks. And the world stands there wondering how you did it. They don't see the nights you fought with doubt, the mornings you woke up with nothing but emptiness, the days you pushed forward with no map. They just see the outcome, the breakthrough, the reward. But the truth is, faith built it long before it showed up in reality. Faith is a weapon, a dangerous one, It doesn't scream, it doesn't brag, but it cuts deeper than fear, sharper than doubt. It keeps you standing when logic says you should fall. It keeps you moving when reason says stop. And once you've tasted that kind of faith, you can't go back. Because you realize that nothing outside you, no opinion, no circumstance, no delay can control what's inside you. Faith is freedom, the kind that makes you fearless in a world addicted to fear. Strength. People love to throw that word around like it's a shiny metal. Don't they? They think strength is about muscles, about shouting louder than everyone else, about looking unshaken even when the ground is trembling beneath their feet. But real strength, oh, it's far quieter, far darker, far more brutal than the world admits. Real strength is not built in the spotlight. It's forged in the shadows, in the moments nobody sees. When you're alone with your pain, your doubts, your scars, and you decide to keep moving anyway. That's strength. Not the image they sell you, not the polished version on posters and screens. It's raw, it's messy. It's blood under the fingernails and fire in the lungs. Strength is not about pretending you're invincible. It's about knowing you're fragile and still choosing to stand tall. It's not about never breaking. It's about breaking into pieces and still dragging yourself forward with shattered edges. It's standing in the ruins of what you thought would last forever and whispering, I'm still here. Most people run from pain. They try to avoid it, numb it. We drown it with distractions. But strength doesn't run. Strength sits with the pain, stares it in the face, and learns to carry it without being destroyed by it. See, strength isn't loud. It's not the roar of victory that impresses everyone in the crowd. No. Real strength is the silence after defeat, when no one's clapping, no one's watching, and you still refuse to quit. It's the night you spend awake, tears soaking into the pillow, and yet the next morning you rise and do what needs to be done. It's the 1,000 little choices no one notices. Getting back up, trying again, refusing to stay down. That's where strength lives, hidden in plain sight. The world loves to test you. It doesn't care about your plans, your timing, or your dreams. It will throw bricks at you when you least expect. It will strip you of things you thought you couldn't live without. It will press on every weakness until you think you're about to snap. And that's when you find out what you're made of. not when things are easy, not when the path is smooth, but when every step feels like walking through fire. Funny thing about messages, people think they last forever. They scribble their words into little screens, believing they've carved something into stone. But nothing lasts here. Not the message, not the moment, not even the people who send them. Everything has an expiration date, and this one, oh, it's ticking fast. You ever notice how the things that vanish are often the ones that matter most? A sentence erased, a truth whispered, and then swallowed, a warning flashing before it disappears. And you wonder, was it deleted because it was useless or because it was too real? They tell you there's always time, don't they? That you can scroll back, replay, rewind, catch it later. But what if you can't? What if the words you were supposed to hear, the very ones that could change everything, vanish before you even recognize their weight? You see, that's the trick life plays. Distract you with noise, make you think you're safe, lull you into believing tomorrow is guaranteed, while the message you needed most slips right through your fingers. Time, sensitive truths don't wait for your convenience. They don't linger politely. They don't knock twice. They come sharp and clear, and if you blink, if you hesitate, they're gone, leaving you standing there with nothing but regret burning in your chest. Imagine a warning written in bold red letters on a door that's about to slam shut. Most people walk past, busy checking their phones, busy chasing shadows, convinced they'll circle back when they're ready. But the door doesn't care about readiness. It closes, it locks, and you're left pounding on it from the outside, begging for another chance, when in truth, the chance was already offered. And you turned your head. That's what makes time so cruel. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't slow down for your excuses. It doesn't pause for your fear. It moves. And you either move with it, or you're crushed under its weight. The illusion is that tomorrow is waiting patiently for you, sitting at a table, sipping tea, smiling kindly. But no, tomorrow is a thief. It sneaks in, snatches what you didn't take today, and disappears into the night. You think you'll act later, when it's more comfortable, when you're more confident, when the stars align. But by then, the message will have dissolved, leaving behind only whispers you can't quite piece together. That's the tragedy. It's not that you never had the chance. It's that you had it and treated it like it would always be there. Do you know what happens when you hesitate? Opportunity grows cold. It dies. The spark you ignored becomes smoke, and you're left choking on the ashes of your own delay. And yet people keep convincing themselves there's no rush, no urgency, no reason to act now. They tell themselves they'll leap tomorrow, they'll speak tomorrow, they'll change tomorrow. But tomorrow is a liar. It's a mirage painted on the desert horizon, luring you deeper into thirst until you collapse, dry and empty, never reaching what you thought was waiting. Time-sensitive truths demand respect. They're not entertainment, not decoration, not something to be consumed lazily while half distracted. They are fire. And fire does not wait for you to decide if you're ready to warm your hands. It burns, it blazes, and if you step away too long, all that's left are embers fading into darkness. How many warnings have you ignored because you thought you could come back later? Laughed in your face and you. How many signs slipped through the cracks while you comforted yourself with the lie that you deal with it eventually? You're not running out of chances. You already missed them. And yet, you still act as though more will be handed to you like candy in an endless parade. But no one tells you that the parade ends. The music stops. The lights shut off. And when the message is deleted, when the truth is erased, you're left staring at the empty space where it used to be, clawing at the void, wishing you had listened the first time. That's the nature of urgency. It doesn't exist to make you comfortable. It exists to shake you, slap you awake, force you to act before it's too late. But most people can't handle that. They want comfort, not confrontation. They want certainty, not risk. And so they wait, they delay. They soothe themselves with the fantasy of endless tomorrows, while reality strips them bare. There's something sinister about the ticking of a clock. It's not just sound, it's judgment. Every tick says, you're closer to losing this chance. Every talk says, you won't get it back. And yet you ignore it, drown it out with noise, laugh it off as though you have infinite supply. You don't. None of us do. And when the truth that was meant for you evaporates, when the message that could have saved you disappears, what excuse will you offer? That you were busy, distracted, waiting for the right moment. The truth doesn't care about your reasons. It came, it spoke, and you didn't listen. That's all that matters. So, when something demands your attention, when a signal pierces through the static, well, you'd better listen. Because once it's gone, it doesn't return. And you'll spend the rest of your life wondering what might have happened if you had acted while it was still in your hands. People love to pretend they're in control, don't they? Walking around like they've got all the time in the world, like life will politely wait while they decide when they're ready to pay attention. But deep down they know it's all slipping through their fingers. A message doesn't linger forever. A chance doesn't sit there patiently, crossing its arms, waiting for you to notice. It fades, it vanishes. And then you're left with nothing but the echo of what could have been. That's the truth no one wants to face, most of what people miss in life. They don't lose because it wasn't meant for them. They lose because they were too distracted to hold it. Picture this. You're standing at a station and the train pulls up. The doors open. You hesitate. Maybe you're scrolling. Maybe you're overthinking. Maybe you're just telling yourself, I'll catch the next one. And then the doors slam shut, the wheels screech, and the train is gone. The platform feels colder, emptier. You stand there, convincing yourself another will come, but deep down you know that one was yours. That exact train was the one carrying what you needed, the one leading to where you were supposed to go. But you let it pass because you thought time was on your side. Time isn't on anyone's side. Time devours. It eats the lazy, the hesitant, the ones who think they can always wait until later. The irony is almost delicious. People think ignoring a warning makes them safe. They think looking away, dismissing it as nothing, somehow keeps the danger at bay. But no, ignoring the truth doesn't erase it. It only blinds you. It's like refusing to look at the headlights of a car speeding toward you because you don't want to believe you're standing in the road. Denial doesn't move the car. Denial doesn't protect you. Denial just ensures the impact hits harder, and yet people cling to it, clutching their illusions like a child clutching a broken toy, convincing themselves it still works. The message that disappears, the one you failed to grasp, doesn't vanish harmlessly. It carries weight, and that weight falls on you. It leaves a mark, a hollow space that gnaws at your insides. You tell yourself it was nothing, but late at night, in the silence, it whispers back to you. You should have listened. You should have acted. That's the torment. It doesn't leave you alone. It festers, reminding you again and again of the second you ignored, the choice you delayed, the chance you threw away. You try to laugh it off, drown it out, bury it under noise and distraction, but it lingers. Regret always lingers. And isn't it funny how people beg for signs, pray for answers, cry out for direction, but when the answer comes, when the sign is flashing right in front of their faces, they treat it like background noise. They want guidance, but only if it comes wrapped neatly, delivered at the exact moment they're comfortable enough to accept it. That's not how it works. The truth doesn't bend to your schedule. The warning doesn't wait until you're emotionally ready. It arrives when it must. Sharp, raw, inconvenient, and if you're too blind or too arrogant to grasp it, you lose. Not because you weren't chosen, but because you refuse to choose. There's a kind of poetry in it, the way silence punishes the careless. One day, you're scrolling, laughing, wasting away in the endless sea of nonsense. And a moment passes you by. You don't notice at first. You think it's just another moment, another message, another throwaway line. But then time reveals what it really was. And by then it's gone, deleted, erased, irretrievable. You can't replay it. You can't rewind. You can't beg the universe to repeat itself just because you weren't paying attention. Life doesn't repeat itself. It doesn't copy and paste its warnings. And so you're left haunted by the possibility of what you could have known, what you could have done, who you could have become if only you had been awake enough to notice. The silence after the message is deleted, is louder than any scream. It presses against you, suffocates you, because deep inside you understand it wasn't stolen from you. You let it slip away. And that realization burns deeper than anything else. Because it means you weren't just unlucky, you were careless. And that, right there, is the cruelest cut of all. People beg for clarity, beg for direction, beg for the truth. They say, show me the way, give me a sign, reveal the secret. And when it comes, when it stares them right in the face, they choke. They don't want the truth. They want a version of it that doesn't make them uncomfortable. A version that pats them on the back and tells them they're fine. No need to change. No need to move. No need to wake up. But the truth isn't soft. It doesn't tuck you in at night. It rips the blanket off. throws cold water in your face, and demands you look around. And that's why most people can't handle it. Because truth doesn't just show you what's real. It exposes every lie you've told yourself to stay cozy in your little cage. You see, people build these illusions, layer upon layer, like paint on a wall. A lie about their strength, a lie about their happiness, a lie about their purpose. They tell themselves they're in control, that nothing's wrong, that they can wait until tomorrow to change. And then the truth walks in like a wrecking ball, smashing through the paint, revealing the rotting wood underneath. And it hurts. It burns. Because once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Once you know. You can't go back to pretending. But here's the beautiful chaos of it. Most would rather stay blind. They'd rather keep walking in circles than admit the floor they're standing on is crumbling beneath them. Imagine a mirror, a real one, not the kind you check before stepping outside, not the kind that flatters or lies. A mirror that shows you everything. Your wasted time, your broken promises, your addictions, your fears. Most people would smash that mirror before they dare to face it. They don't want reflection. They want distraction. They'll drown themselves in noise, in flashing lights, in meaningless chatter, just to avoid that one clear moment where they'd have to admit who they really are. Because once you see the cracks in yourself, you can't cover them up anymore. And once you know the truth, you can't hide behind excuses. But isn't it fascinating how the truth doesn't need you to like it? It doesn't care if you scream, if you run, if you deny it. It sits there, patient, inevitable, waiting for you to exhaust yourself with lies. And the moment you think you've buried it deep enough, the moment you believe you've silenced it, that's when it resurfaces, sharper, louder, crueler, because the truth always collects its debt. Every ignored warning, every dismissed whisper, every deleted message, oh, it adds up. And when the truth finally comes to collect, it doesn't knock politely. It breaks the door down, the irony. The very thing people fear about the truth is the only thing that could free them. They think facing it will destroy them, but in reality, the lies are what's eating them alive. The pretending, the delaying, the acting like everything's fine, it's poison. Slow, quiet poison. And the truth, as painful as it is the antidote. It's the fire that burns away the rot, the knife that cuts away the infection. But people are too afraid of the pain to realize it's the pain that saves them. They'd rather keep limping with the wound than endure the surgery that heals. It's laughable, really. Everyone wants change, but no one wants the disruption it requires. Everyone wants answers, but no one wants to hear they've been living a lie. Everyone wants freedom, but no one wants to give up the chains they've grown comfortable carrying. So they curse the truth, hate it, avoid it, all while secretly knowing they need it more than air. Because without it, they're nothing but puppets jerking to the strings of their own illusions. And when the strings snap, when the lies can't hold them anymore, they collapse, empty, broken, wondering why it all feels so hollow. The truth isn't cruel. It's neutral. It's us who make it cruel by resisting it, by hiding from it, by pretending it isn't there. Because the longer you run from it, the heavier it becomes, until it's not just a whisper you ignore, but a weight crushing your chest, stealing your breath, leaving you gasping in the dark. And the joke is, you could have faced it when it was small, manageable, almost gentle. But no, you ran, you delayed, you denied. And now it comes back as a storm, tearing apart everything you thought was safe, leaving you exposed, trembling, stripped of all your little lies. That's the thing about the truth. It doesn't need your permission. It doesn't need your acceptance. It doesn't vanish just because you close your eyes. It's there in the silence, in the cracks, in the moments you try hardest to ignore. And sooner or later, it forces you to look, whether you like it or not. People think silence